It's the Uprising.
Welcome back. This is the Uprising. I'm Pac, and I'm joined by Adam Lumley. What's going on, bro?
Not much, not much. We got some topics to talk about. We're going to be talking about, especially Pac. He's going to lead us on this one, Save the Children movement against sex trafficking, and about that. Him and I have some opinions about the whole situation, that movement specifically. We're going to talk about the Alex Moorse situation. He's running for Congress to unseat Richie Nail in Massachusetts. We're going to talk about the National Democratic Convention, why TYT is not getting the invite, the press pass. We're going to talk about how we feel about AOC only getting 60 seconds. We're going to talk about Kamala Harris and how she's going to be the VP. And we're going to talk about Joe Biden and how this theory that the right wing's blabbing about, saying that he's a Marxist, radical, leftist, socialist, whatever. They couldn't tell us what any of those terms even mean, but we're going to talk about that and why he's not that, and it's ridiculous. So, and we're just going to go and flow, and if we talk about anything else, we'll talk about those things. But it's going to be a fairly 30 minutes, maybe, and who knows. Every interview I do, I want to be like 45 minutes. It's usually an hour and a half. So, you know, that's kind of how it works. My dog can't make up his mind if he wants to go with my mom in her room or not. I'm at my parents' house right now. They have better internet. So let's knock this Alex Moorse situation out right quick.
All right.
So Alex Moorse, he is running for Congress in Massachusetts, the first district. He is trying to unseat Richie Nail. He is the chair of the Ways, I don't know why I want to say Wayne, Ways and Means Committee, which is one of the people who holds a lot of power when it comes to the national budget. So he's a really powerful, very, very corrupt Democrat in Congress. So they're trying to unseat him. Morris is a Justice Democrat. Really good candidate, supports Medicare for all and all the other progressive ideals. So I'm a big supporter of his. So he's had some controversy last week and a half. He got accused from the Democratic college Democrats in Massachusetts, UMass, Amherst, however you say that college. They alleged that he's been making inappropriate advances on some students. We'll talk about that in a second. He's alleged to use a power dynamic, and he's alleged to just be creepy, and I guess I don't fully understand what they're even trying to get at. But they alleged that he was having inappropriate messages. These messages were about him just saying, "How's your mom doing? Hope you're having a good day. I'm doing fine. I'm going to go to a march." Essentially, I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what he said to someone, saying that he was sending inappropriate messages to people. Another thing that he's accused of is adding people, college students, into his Instagram story, like main friend story. That's alleged. Now, mind you, these people are some college Democrats, and the main person behind this is a person that has admitted in messages uncovered by Ryan Grimm at The Intercept that he wanted to work for Richie Nail, that he's a Richie Nail stan, and they organized this to try to destroy Alex Moore's campaign. So the other things they said that he had power dynamic with someone he slept with that was a college student. Mind you, that this college student didn't know that he was a mayor at the time and didn't know that he had any power of being a lecturer for UMass or anything like that. So I don't understand how a person that doesn't know you have power, there's a power dynamic until the person slept with you afterwards. So They're trying to say that he's a predator, which is a homophobic trope that really needs to go away. Alex is a homosexual. He's had he freely admits that he has consensual sex with other men, and he said he has had sex with other students, but none of these students is his. This other students on the university. So a lot of this has been just complete and utter nonsense. Really not our business who he has sex with, as long as consensual, and he's not sleeping with someone that he actually has power over, which would be like a staffer or someone that he's actually in charge of when it comes to lecturing and stuff. I think the left, segments of the left, want to act like they're the best people ever and no one's ever done anything wrong. And our candidates and everyone has to be perfect, and no one ever makes mistakes and never does stupid things and says stupid things, which if that's going to be the thing that we stand by as the left, we will never have power, and we're wasting our time, because you're not going to find every person is not going to be a Jamal Bowen or AOC. Some people are going to have baggage. Some people are going to say stupid things. Some people are going to do stupid things. But of course, there's lines. We don't want serial killers or rapists in there, of course. But there's definitely a line that people are not crossing and they're getting disqualified for. And we got to think about who's this person they're even going against. That man's a monster that does birthday parties for IBM and other Wall Street ghouls. So we need to get our priorities straight, people. Why do someone that at the bare maximum is a little awkward and a little creepy, I guess. Which I don't even know if I even believe the accusations, because the people saying these accusations are not credible, like I said previously. So we're gonna completely, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna completely destroy someone that could possibly unseat a corporate Democrat that needs to really retire. So again, like I said, if we're going to have this standard of having holier than thou candidates and expecting our candidates to be Mother Teresa and the Pope, we're never going to have any power, people. We the Republicans, they're okay with nominating rapists and racist monsters, and corporate Democrats are not much better. So when your opponents are not playing by any moral rules, what are we doing? I mean, we of course we need to have certain morals, but acting like acting like we're expecting these candidates to be nuns and holier than thou demigods is ridiculous. Go ahead, Pat.
Oh, well, I mean, and this is just one example of what establishment and Republicans do this too. Um, they take they say offensive things were said in messages, but those offensive things that were said in messages weren't to the messages to the students. So in the messages to the students, everything was like, "How's your mom?" Like you were saying, and then he has a dating app. He's a homosexual man who uses a dating app. This is not new ground. This is not something that's never been heard of. And in the dating app, I don't know if you know this, most people should, you talk kind of flirtatious and stuff in your dating app. So they take the truth of him talking flirtatious in a dating app to people who weren't students, and then they take messages that were just text messages on his phone to students where he's asking, how's your family, how are you doing, and they combine the two and they say he's making inappropriate messages and he's messaging students. You see, he's not making inappropriate messages to students, he's doing both. He's making what they are calling inappropriate messages in a dating app, and he's messaging the students. So they push that together and then drive that narrative out. So it's none of our business who he has sex with. You know what I mean? He's not breaking any laws by using a dating app. He's not breaking any laws by being a homosexual man and and talking and having sex with other men. That's his business. But they put this out because they want to push, you know, their candidate forward. And so the only way that you could do that is by tearing down the other candidate. Even if there's nothing there, they will create something. So it's really sad to see like this kind of thing happening on our side amongst what's going on. But when you look back at like all of the things that the establishment has done in the last 4 years to get progressives out of the way, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So other things he matched with other college students, but I haven't heard anything he's really said inappropriate in my eyes. So again, we need to, like I said on our Instagram page, subscribe to Uprising on Instagram. As the left, we need to be disciplined and we need to be vigilant in our criticisms and how we act when it comes to candidates. When it comes to these situations, I am really, really careful with them. When it comes to sexual allegations, I believe victims. I want to hear them out, but sometimes they're not truthful. Most of the time, they are. Sometimes hit jobs like this happen, and we need to be very careful about that because he
Mhm.
has a really good chance of beating Richie Nail. And something like this might have destroyed his campaign. Luckily,
Right.
we have good journalists like Ryan Grimm that unseat this nonsense. But smaller race, not good journalists. Maybe Ryan's busy and someone else doesn't pick it up. Might just destroyed someone's campaign that could have won. Now, fortunately for Alex, he's raised a ton. He's raised a ton of money since then. He's had some anti-gay organizations buying six-figure ad buys. Cenk Uyghur's new Rebel Super PAC or PAC, not Super PAC, PAC. They're gonna max out their contributions to try to unseat Neil as well. So this ploy really seemed like it might backfire. Now, Richie Neal's still powerful. Massachusetts is a very corporate Democrat stronghold, so he might still not win with all this extra attention, but he definitely have opportunity. The latest poll, that this was before, kind of midst like maybe a week ago, the poll was he was down by like 5 points, which is very close. When it comes to incumbents, that's pretty much margin of error. So we'll see. It's September 1st. We're progressive, so we have a bias, of course. If you have some extra money, love you to throw some extra money towards Alex's way. He's going to need it. Share some pages of his message and everything else. Quick before we change the subject, Ed Markey's running for Senate, trying to get reelected against Joe Kennedy the second. Joe Kennedy, unfortunately, is a grandson of Bobby, which I love. He's a big influence on my life, and he's a grandson. And Joe Kennedy's a corporate Democrat that stands for nothing and will do nothing. So if you have a little
Yeah.
bit of extra money when it comes to Ed Markey, throw some money his way as well. So that's all I got to say about that. You got anything else, Pack?
No, I mean just support progressives and you know, man, it's Kennedy, huh? Just gonna run off the last name
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I guess the apple does fall far from the tree.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
about it.
Robert Kennedy, JFK's younger brother that got assassinated too. That's his grandson, Joseph Kennedy, which was Bobby's son. The famous photo after Bobby got murdered, waving. That was Joe Kennedy. And Joe Kennedy's son is running for Senate, even though he really shouldn't be. So that's all I got to say about that. Just a second. To your, do you want to knock this Save the Children thing, or do you want to save that? So,
Oh no, we could dive right into it.
okay. All right.
Okay, so if you've been paying attention on social media over the last 30 days,
Especially on Facebook.
yeah, especially on Facebook,
Go
you'll
ahead.
notice a trending hashtag that says save the children. Um, and if you don't know what's going on, and of course you're gonna share that, yeah, of course, save the children. Why wouldn't we save the children, right? Um, but the narrative behind this is not what you think it is. So let's rewind a little bit and let's just talk about the original Save the Children, which was started in the early 1900s to help feed German kids.
Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
I read I read some
All
stuff.
right, man. I didn't know that. Okay.
Um, and so initially that's how it was started. Now, when the Save the Children in the America was started, and it's still a foundation, the
Hmm.
main thing that it does is it ensures children have health care,
Hmm.
food, and shelter. Remember that because I'm going to come back to it.
All
So,
right.
healthcare, food, and shelter for all children in the United States. That's the Save the Children Foundation. Now, when all of this political landscape started going on, and Epstein and all of this stuff with the child pornography and the child, you know,
Sex trafficking.
trafficking and yeah, sexual trafficking and all this started going on. The insane group called QAnon thought they would start using this hashtag. If you don't know who QAnon is, they're a super right wing group that pretty much does conspiracy theories, and they're big Trump supporters. And he's even he's even retweeted things that they've have said, which is
President Trump.
yeah, it's not a new thing because
Yeah.
he retweets
Yeah.
bad stuff all the time.
QAnon
Um,
is the deep state. They're
right.
trying to get me. The deep state is trying to get me. That's kind of what the QAnon nonsense is.
So yeah, and so they started putting out these memes and graphics that said, save the children, but that's not it. They're like, you guys are worried about COVID and wearing masks. You're not worried about saving the children. Like one thing has nothing to do with the other. And so what they're trying to do is get you to make a choice. Of course, if you just say save the children, then who wouldn't be for saving the children, right? But people on Facebook don't know the narrative behind this and what it's for. And so they're unintentionally sharing this message. So let me break it down. So Save the Children initially is actually for helping kids, which if you talk to the QAnon people who started this, they were okay with kids in cages and all that stuff. So that doesn't fit with Save the Children, does it?
Or bombing kids in the Middle East or
Bombing kids, right? So don't save those kids, just save these other kids. Another thing, sex trafficking with children has been going on since before I was born.
oh, it's been
Okay,
going on for thousands of years. I mean,
thousands of years. And it's always been a problem. And we always should have spoken up about it, not just in the last 30 days. This is not something that's just new. And it's not also not something that just Hollywood does, with Weinstein and all of that other stuff going on. Everyone thinks it's all Hollywood elites. No, there's a guy around the corner from your house who's molested a child. Okay. And this is something that should have been addressed a long time ago. But the thing you don't want to do is say, save the children, and then use that, which is pure evil, man, to use that to get people who are like anti-mask and push another narrative. You know what I'm saying? And then I also hear a lot of this stuff where Trump is going to expose these child sex traffickers. I don't know if you know this or not, but Trump and Epstein were like this, okay? And
President
all
Trump
the
has been
pictures,
sorry.
all the
President
pictures with Epstein and what's her name, who was helping get the kids, they're all buddy buddies. So while you're being pro Trump and you're being pro save the children, you're also being pro child molestation. because he's all part of the same thing. And so people are pushing this narrative without realizing what they're doing. And I have a lot of Democrat friends who I see post this stuff, and and I just know that they're lost and they don't understand what they're doing. And I understand save the children. Yes, we should always save the children. We should always speak up about it. But one thing doesn't outdo the other. So I could say save the children, and I could still say wear a mask and save, and keep people from getting the virus. It's like you said, walking and chewing gum at the same time. We should all be able to do that. The only advice that I can give to people, if you see these kind of posts, pay attention to what it's saying. Pay attention to the source. You know what I mean? Instead of just sharing and not knowing what you're sharing. You know, um, yeah, man. That's pretty much it, man.
Do you have like any incidents of this stuff going on? People saying this, or without getting too much details?
Well, I mean, like I always see things that are like, you guys are the the mask and the virus aren't real, but this is real. Always comparing one thing to the other, like it outdoes, like this eradicates the other thing, but it doesn't. Like we have a problem with the virus, obviously over 160,000 deaths in the United States, and still have people who think it's not a real thing.
Yeah.
Like 160,000. You want to go to somebody who's lost someone because of COVID, look them in the eyes and tell them, hey, that virus that killed your loved one, it's not real. Are you going to do that? No. So what they do is they get on Facebook, they get on social media where they're safe, and they just thumb warriors, and they go at it and they share this stuff, you know, and it's harmful because, for one, you're totally corrupting the original message of save the children by pushing this other narrative with it, you know. And so, like, yes, we do need to save the children. Yes, we do need to protect ourselves as much as we can from COVID. So you got to be able to do both, people. You got to be able to do both, and you got to use your brain and do some research. And I ain't talking about going on Facebook and seeing what everybody else is saying. That's not research. I'm talking about do real research with facts.
Yeah, I mean, I can't find. It was this post that talked about some things, but I can't find where it is. But yeah, like that's just. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I can't find it.
I'm kind of shocked that even like a lot of the progressive
Oh, here
places
it
that
is.
I watch
All right.
aren't talking about it,
Yeah. So
because it's a whole thing.
let me give you a instance of what they're saying. So
Okay.
Epstein Island was the tip of the iceberg. Oprah canceled magazine, whatever that is. Ellen canceled. Jimmy Kimmel taking a break. Pierce Morgan taking a break. Tom Hanks becoming a Greek citizen. Chrissy Teigen deleting 60,000 tweets, blocking a whole bunch of people, making her Twitter private. Jenna Jameson went public about being raped, conditioned, and trafficked in Hollywood as a child. Isaiah Cappy, I don't know who that is, repeatedly named Hanks as a pedophile, committed suicide on Route 66 just after Hanks tweeted roadkill on Route 66. That EDM DJ that committed suicide a few years ago, I don't know how to say his name, committed suicide, quotations, day after releasing the video for a better day ahead of child sex trafficking.
Right.
Other people, Anthony Bourdain committed suicide, Epstein killed himself, like stuff like that. So
Right. So if one thing is true, if one little bit of something is true, then everything must be true, right?
yeah, I mean,
It's like, yes, it's a real thing. Sex
yeah.
trafficking is a real thing. Yes, it's a problem in Hollywood or anywhere with people with money can buy children. That is a real thing. So you take that little bit of truth and you add in all of this nonsense, and everyone thinks because this little part is true that every part of it is true.
And this is not a new phenomenon, people. We unfortunately this has been going on for thousands of years. The elites like little kids. I mean, a lot of people like little kids, unfortunately, but a lot of elites like little kids and do disgusting things with those kids. This is not a new phenomenon. Romans did this, Greeks did this. Oh, like this is not a new phenomenon, and this is unfortunately an issue then and still an issue now. I'm not going to deny that there's possibility some of these allegations are true. Epstein, I don't think he killed himself. I think that's ridiculous to think that. I definitely think people that are very powerful did some things to him to make sure he didn't ever go to court. So I'm not a simpleton that thinks that all this is nonsense. But like Pac was saying, who who is saying these things? Why is all these people liberals? Like, so only liberals are pedophiles? Like,
And why are you just
Donald,
worried about it now? Where were you 10 years ago,
right.
20 years ago?
Donald Trump literally said in words to a 12-year-old girl, "Oh, I'm gonna date her in a couple of years." I mean, he routinely inappropriate with his daughter. He's banged damn prostitutes. His wife was pregnant. I mean, there's court documents by unreleased by anonymous saying that he had sexual relations with a 12-year-old girl. Like this stuff is unfortunately, like a lot of things, partisan nonsense. Like,
Right.
and not partisan nonsense, but partisan. They're making this political when it shouldn't be political.
Right. No, it shouldn't
And
be. And it's funny how everything else is connected to that except their boy. Except Donald Trump, right? Donald
Or
Trump, oh,
other,
he was only doing that so he could get in good with them and get the info, right?
okay,
It's ridiculous, man.
okay. I mean, Bill Clinton. I'm speculating. This is
Right.
Bill Clinton might have done things. Other, again, like I'm not saying that all this is completely false.
No.
I don't know. I'm not in enough circles. I can't.
But if you're going to accuse Tom Hanks, have some evidence.
Yeah. Roadkill on Route 66. That who knows even said that. Like that's the other thing that people do. Like they don't look up shit, and they retweet memes and posts that who knows where the fuck they're even coming from. And this is gospel because I saw it on Facebook. Facebook is really bad when it comes to this. Twitter's not as bad. This is not really an issue. I don't seem to be on Twitter.
No, and it's surely not an Instagram issue either.
So it's a Facebook. You're a boomer. Boomers use Facebook more than anyone. And unfortunately, boomers they don't really research things. They just think things are at face value. So yeah, sex trafficking is an issue. Let's not be simpletons and think that there's some shady things going on, and we definitely need to do our due diligence and try to stop these problems. But one, trying to conflate with one issue to another, or trying to discard a big issue with another big issue. So yeah,
right.
We can like I told Pac off camera, we can chew gum and walk at the same time. So
it's the same thing. I want to say one last thing on that.
Of course,
them saying, you know, that Save Our Children is I mean that's a problem, but the virus isn't. Is the same people who say all lives matter. I'm just going to put that out there. It's the same people who argue that your issue is not more important than whatever issue they have. You see what I'm saying? And just use your brain, man. It's real easy. It's right here. You can use it. Have a thought. Do some research. You've got the internet at the touch of your fingertips. Don't use Facebook to get to research.
No, that's not research. That's more times than not nonsense. So That's all we got to say about that.
Yep.
Okay. TYT, Young Turks. If you're not aware, you should be aware. They're the biggest progressive news network there is. They didn't get a press pass to the DNC, the Democratic Convention. Um, but you have Republicans like Michael Bloomberg and John Kasich speaking. They have Anna Rivera speaking, and let's let Republicans that after Trump's out going to hate us again. Let's let them in our party, but let's not give AOC that probably going to be our president one day only 60 seconds to talk, or Bernie Sanders being the only other progressive of the progressive wing. Can't even have Liz Warren. All the clown things she's done, can at least give her a talking spot. And she ran for president, so that's no excuse not to give her one. Andrew Yang, don't give him one either. You would truly want to get Republicans to come over. Andrew Yang is your guy. Most of his supporters were Trump supporters, so it's the thing with this party, man. They're making it really hard for us.
They would rather, they're showing right here, it's plain as day. They would rather work with Republicans than progressives. And that's very telling about the establishment part of the party is progressives are always getting snubbed over Republicans, which is crazy, right? And it just keeps happening, and we keep saying like, okay, well, we're just gonna have to take this one. We're gonna have to do this way. We're gonna have to accept this. AOC, what, 60 seconds?
Pre-recorded.
60 seconds. Okay. The most progressive, biggest progressive media there is snubbed. Not that they're not still going to report it and cover it, but it just goes to show that the establishment Democrats would much rather have Republicans speaking for them than progressives. And you know why? It's because Republicans align with them more than progressives do.
I'm just going to say something. I'm going to be honest. They're Republicans. That's why they agree, and they agree on a lot of things. And that's how crazy our politics is. The moderates, actually Republicans, not even moderates. If we want to go by international rules, they're not even Democrats in any other country in this world. Pretty much, they're Republicans. Our Republican Party doesn't even exist in other parts of the world. They're so far right that no one takes them seriously. So we live in a very right-wing country, and even the radicals are moderates in other places in the world. Bernie Sanders, for instance, which will levy to us, or talking about Joe Biden being a Marxist, Leninist, whatever nonsense they want to call him. People, please. Now I'm gonna assume most people watching this are leftists, so they know this. But in case you don't, Joe Biden's not a Marxist. He's not a communist. He's not a socialist. He's a moderate Republican, if we want to be super honest. He, if we will go back in time, he would be a Republican. He's pretty much always been a Republican. He's just a little bit lefter on social issues. And this saying that the Democratic Party with Joe Biden's being taken over by the radical left of AOC and the squad, which is utterly ridiculous. Case in point, let's talk about Kamala Harris for a second. The Republicans want to say that she's a radical leftist that then destroyed America and the economy. Well, right after she got picked as the VP, tapped, we like to say, Wall Street rejoiced. I'm on Wall Street. I'm still technically a capitalist, so I have a little bit of money in the stock market. I pay attention daily when it's going on. the day she got tapped for VP, the Dow Jones went up 230 points. If she was some Marxist, Leninist, whatever, that wouldn't have happened. People got to get this concrete in people's minds. If you really want to know what's going on in politics, especially when it comes to corporate Democrats or Republicans in general, what are the rich people doing? What do they want? Because what do they want is going to be what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So this Joe Biden's going to be taken over by the radical left, which I actually don't mind. Republicans love giving us threatening us with a good time, my ass. But this is nonsense. Like, he's not going to do pretty much anything that they want him to do, because again, politics is about power and influence. We have maybe 5 progressives in Congress, and if everything goes right, maybe 10 actual progressives, not progressives. They're in the progressive party. They're really not progressives. Don't support anything progressive actually support.
Yeah.
So again, if you have to have power to actually get anything done, and if you only have 5 people, that's not going to do much. The Freedom Caucus from the Libertarian Republicans had like 30 people, and they did some things during the Obama administration. Well, they actually had some power. And 2, remotely, for the most part, the establishment and the Libertarian Freedom Caucus agree for the most part is this: the freedom libertarians is don't think the corporate Democrat, the Republicans, go far enough. On the other hand, corporate Democrats and progressives are honestly not even in the same party. If we lived in a non-insane country, AOC that said it best: if we lived in a different country, Joe Biden and her wouldn't even be in the same party.
Right.
Which talks about like third party things. That's a bigger discussion I don't really want to get into right now. Yeah, Joe Biden's not a radical leftist. He's definitely not a Marxist. Most people calling him those things couldn't even tell you what those even are. People throw these words around because they don't even understand what they even are. Pac and I are not Marxist, Leninists, whatever. We're social democrats, which means we're Democrats that are fairly left in a capitalist economic system that wants socialist plans with a capitalist economic system. Right. Bernie Sanders himself, even though I say I'm a Democratic socialist, I levy for social democratic policies. So either Bernie Sanders personally is probably a Democratic socialist. All the things he said are social democrat, which is a capitalist society. Right. If you want to become a socialist, that's an economic society, economic theory. Then you have democratic social, which is the most right wing, and then you have communism, which is the most left wing. Then you have anarchism, which is the most extreme of any party. You can have left wing anarchists, and you have right wing anarchists, and everything in between. Now, I don't know enough about everything when it comes to socialist different things. That's someone I need to have on the show that's smarter when it comes to that stuff than I am. But yes, a lot of these people don't know what they're talking about. It's to scare words, to scare old boomers to vote for the Republican Party, which they're going to do mostly anyway. Trying to scare suburban white people to vote for you instead of the crazy radical left Joe Biden, right. Which is, you can be more right wing in my eyes. Yeah. You want to talk? You want to go ahead, Pat?
Yeah, let's see here. It's amusing that is their go-to because they can't say, "Oh, he likes war and he's at the crime bill," because that's not the
like that.
That's the feature for them, Right. So
they like that stuff.
I'm just like, what would they be saying about Bernie right now? You know what I'm saying? Because, like, well, I mean, they were calling Bernie a communist. So if Bernie's a communist, Joe Biden might get, no, he still wouldn't get close. Who are we kidding, man? Joe Biden is a diet Republican. What that is all of his policies as far as economic are going to be Republican. But on some social issues, and I mean some social issues, he might be a little Democratic. So it's like a Republican that has power without the racism and a little bit of the bigotry. Um, it's so funny too when they talked about Harris, like, and I see people now, everyone's you don't have to post videos glorifying Harris. She's the VP pick. That's it. You don't have to keep pushing all these memes and like if somebody criticizes her, you're criticizing the first woman that's going to be a black woman, and she's actually Asian. She's Asian too.
Yeah, she's her mom. I think her mom is Indian, or I think her like actual from India, or her dad. One of them.
Like
One of them's
first
Indian
woman of color,
yeah.
VP. Yes, that if you just said that, if that was the headline, that's awesome. But this whole notion that now that we've got our presidential pick and we've got the VP pick, now we all just need to fall in line and be supportive is fucking bullshit. I'm going to criticize whoever it is for whatever they do. Okay, I don't care if it was Bernie, and which he wouldn't be making these mistakes. But if it was, I would criticize Bernie.
Mm-hmm.
But we're supposed to be. This is what I was saying earlier. Progressives, we just get thrown this, and it's like we got to accept it, right? It's who we got. We got to accept it, and I'm gonna vote, but I'm not going to endorse nobody. You see what I'm saying? It's a difference between me voting for who I've got to vote for to get Trump out of the White House. Okay. There's a difference between that and me supporting and posting things saying, hey, Biden's our guy. Like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's something. Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this before, and I'll talk about it again. If you live in a strong blue state or a strong left Republican red state, vote your conscience. And if you live in a swing state, again, vote your conscience. But I would implore you to vote for Joe Biden if you don't want Trump to get reelected. Right. I mean, some people are saying like, "Oh my God, let's not vote for anyone. Was it get Trump reelected for we can mobilize again or whatever?" Like, and I was in that boat a little bit in 2016. That didn't work. He's just not going to do anything we want him to do. It's just going to make everything worse.
Yep.
Unfortunately, this is the hand we're dealt right now. That doesn't mean we can't criticize Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or any other politician.
Because
we will. That's not their job. Is to serve their constituents in the country. Their job's not to be holier than thou people that can't get criticized. That's nonsense. I hate that shit. That's one of the reasons politics sucks so much, because oh my God, don't give Republicans or don't give the Democrats any ammunition. These people are not idiots. I mean, the Republicans kind of are a little bit. These certain political strategies kind of make me question a little bit, but they're not idiots. They don't need our help. I mean, come on.
No, they don't. And all we got to do, like you said, vote your conscience. You're gonna have to live with it for 4 years.
Yeah. And again, if Joe Biden gets elected, I hope he does. I think Trump's an existential threat. Yeah, we got to push him. We got to push him as much as we can. And it's not going to be a lot because he's already got a vote. What's more important than anything is we mobilize, we stay engaged, we get more progressives elected.
Yes.
In politics, it's about power. Again, you can't have power if you have 5 people against 300. This is not the movies. We're not going to win that fight. More progressives. If you have extra money, give them to. You don't have to just give them to Alex Moorse. Give them to people that aren't in strong areas like AOC doesn't need your money anymore. She's gonna win the primary. The squad, everyone in the squad doesn't need your money. I mean, you can donate a little bit to them, that's fine, but they don't need your money. Alex Moore, if he wins his primary, after that he doesn't need your money. People do need your money. Kojo here,
Yes.
Daniela here, they need your
Yep.
money. You can throw some money at the progressives. They need your help.
Yep.
Miss Bradshaw from Tennessee that's running for Senate. She needs your help. Paul Jean Swearengin running for Senate in West Virginia. She needs your help. Marie Newman running in third in Illinois. She needs your help. Carrie Eastman running in the second in Nebraska. She's gonna need your help. Um, the lady that I can't remember how to pronounce her name, Dawn Inman or something like that. I'm awful pronouncing names, but she's running the 31st House in Texas. She needs your help. Um, some other progressives running in Texas, 25th. Can't remember her name on the top of my head. She needs your help. So that's the thing. Like, we have other progressives that need your help, and you can donate whatever you can. You don't even have to donate money. Share their things on your social media. If you can
Yeah.
have a little
That's
bit of extra
free.
time, make phone calls for them. Um, donate to these packs like Cenk Uygur or Sunrise Movement, DSA organizations. If we have enough ammunition to change politics, which I mean by ammunition is enough people on our bench, enough starters, we can actually cause change in this country. I use Barry Goldwater a lot, and I'm not a fan of Barry Goldwater, but Barry Goldwater, he ran the 64 election. If you watch his channel, you know who Barry Goldwater is. I talk about him a lot. He completely changed politics forever in my eyes. He's probably top 10 the most influential people when it comes to politics in the last 100 years. He completely changed the Republican Party from being a really establishment Democrat Rockefeller New York elitist party to a libertarian uh, extremist on social and religion issues monster it is now. He's one of the big reasons why it happened. He's one of the reasons why the libertarian ideology is such prevalent in our politics now. The limited government's your enemy. And they got their guy eventually. They got Richard Nixon help elected. He was kind of more of a moderate Republican, but they got their guy in Ronald Reagan, and he completely changed politics. And ever since then, we've been a super right wing country. And before the '64 election, we were extremely, economic wise, we're a very left wing country. Socially, we're fairly right wing, but left wing, we're then now we are a super right wing economic country and a fairly liberal right on social issues country. So again, we got to get these people elected in 2022. It's going to be hard because a lot of people are going to go to sleep if Joe Biden gets elected. So the Republicans are going to give everything they can to gain the House back in 2022. So we got to get these people reelected. If they do get elected, then we need to add to the bench again. So that's all I got to say about that. Quick about Kamala Harris. I mean, corporate Democrat, she's not going to do anything really to change anyone's lives. They just want to go back to Obama years. Only thing we can probably get out of them is maybe increase the minimum wage and maybe doing something along the lines of Green New Deal or some climate change to stop climate change. Probably going to get back in the Paris Climate Accord, which is fine. We need to do a lot more than that. But and the only reason we would even do a Green New Deal light probably is because that's where the money's starting to go. They're starting to stop investing in big oil and they're starting to invest in clean energy. Again, what are rich people doing? That's probably what politics is going to happen.
Yep.
You got anything else to say, Pac?
Nah, man. I think that's it for this week, man. I want to thank y'all for watching us. Like, subscribe, share this. We're on our road to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So please help us hit our mark by the end of this year. I think it'll be an easy one to do. And thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we're going to be hitting really hard on that because we need to expand our platform to get more bigger people on and give people we have on bigger exposure. So we're going to be kind of annoying when it comes to this, but it is what it is. We're trying to do this full time. So subscribers, please subscribe, comment, like, of course. We're going to be working on some ads next week and some other things. So we'll keep you updated on that as well. So thank you for watching. This is Uprising.
Uprising.